How's it guys, it's Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey Live Stream. Not exactly the deadline as we are a few hours away, but couldn't make it for the stream 1 hour before the deadline, so decided to make a stream a little bit earlier as I still think we can go over some talking points that might be useful. Now please just let me know if the audio is fine. The music does seem a little bit louder than usual, so I am just worried that it might be drowning out my current voice, but and the video obviously if that looks fine. I'll just refresh it if it's not looking crispy. Thanks, Harry. Hope you're doing well as well, brother. Sorry couldn't do a stream last weekend and didn't want to go 2 weeks in a row, so decided to make a stream a little bit earlier today. And as I said, we might not be getting the early city team news, but we might be able to go over some talking points and at least prepare some plans for you guys, depending on what news we do get. So I'm just going to set up here. As far as I know, it's probably the regular streaming time that we're actually doing right now. If there was an early kickoff today, then this would be the time. But you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It might be the coronation today. I do apologize if you guys are into that stuff and I'm a little bit ignorant with it. But I'm not really too focused on it. So if it is the coronation today, that would kind of make me realize why the games are a little bit later on. Best captain, please. Everyone's asking for captaincy questions. So guys, this is probably going to be my answer for quite a few questions today, but I'll try and give you as many possibilities. The early team news for Man City is going to dictate a lot this week. It's going to dictate if we captain Haaland. It's going to dictate if we bench Haaland. It's going to dictate if we bring in a Man City asset and captain them or not. So for me, the best captain this week would be anyone from Manchester City. That Leeds game is too good of a fixture to ignore. I think if Erling Haaland's going to play, you probably will captain him, even if he's going to play 45 minutes, 60 minutes. I still think he's the best option. But then besides that, you can go for any other Man City option that is guaranteed to start. I say guaranteed to start, we might not get that luxury. So then you can maybe go for a Foden if you think he'll play, a KDB, Alvarez. I don't know about a Grealish. He seems like he's predicted to maybe get a rest this week, but same as Erling Haaland. So I don't know how much truth there is to that kind of debate, but I think that anyone that is going to be going for Man City asset that's nailed to start should probably get you FPL points. Besides that though, there are some other rotation options. You could go for differential Salah. Brentford's not the easiest fixture, but I mean it is at home at Anfield. Liverpool always better from an attacking point of view. Then you could look at someone like a Solly March, guaranteed to probably start after his rest midweek against an Everton side that have the worst XG conceded over the last 6 games at a minimum. We can go over those stats in more depth because this stream is going to be quite chilled, I won't lie to you guys. So any kind of any advice you guys want, if you want me to go look at stats, if you want to look at projected points, I'll go over them for you guys today because I don't think there'll be that many questions. But in terms of Captaincy, to get back to the question, sorry for waffling, it's Erling Haaland if he's going to start, any other Man City option if he doesn't, then it's probably Salah for me, and then it's probably Solly March. There are a few other differentials that you could potentially look at, but I think between those 3 teams, that's probably where you guys will focus. How's it going, says Tarang? I'm good, and you? Thanks SH for saying the video and audio are good. Conrad saying hello chat. Not even saying, he's just saying hello chat to you guys. So say hello back to Conrad if you want to. I've answered the best captain. Okay, FPL Diamond, that's what you can say. Mark says, I've turned down the coronation to listen to your stream. Appreciate it, Mark. Thanks as always. Hey, David from New South Wales, Australia. Sydney based, TJ? Or are you... I think there are a few other kind of cities. Sorry for being ignorant. I've just been to Sydney. That's the only city I've visited in New South Wales. So if you are there, how's the weather looking? Might be a little bit late for you on that side. So thanks for joining in. I don't know if it's just me, but it's hard to focus on your voice because of the music. Okay, let me turn it down a bit for you. I'll turn it down by 3 decibels. Okay, so just let me know if that sounds better. Zodiac. Legend saying Gary. No, Gary, you the legend for joining in. Do I get rid of Jota? David says Mark. I think for me, Jota is slightly easier to get rid of just because of the injury concerns. So if, okay, so let me just first, sorry Mark, before I answer that question, I was trying to give you guys an update on the overall rank so I can give you the actual preview. So we finished with 115 points, minus 411 total. I think that was just above the kind of safety score. So the green arrow was super small. I think it was about 5k places, but we're currently sitting within the top 100k for the first time this season. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Players that I didn't cover in the ultimate guide is Stupinan got a clean sheet. March was benched. Matoma played the game but didn't get any returns. Then obviously Rashford and Fernandes losing out late onto that fixture, and Luke Shaw as well. So Luke Shaw was on for a clean sheet and bonus points. So the green arrow, I think, would have been sitting at about the 80k mark if Luke Shaw did get that clean sheet and bonus points, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. Late penalty to the worst option as possible, McAllister. We don't own him, so our green arrow at about the 90th minute was a lot more secured, but then come the 95th minute, after that McAllister penalty, it still was a green, but it wasn't as large. So I just want to give you guys a rundown because, as I mentioned, I recorded the team selection before that United game, but now we can focus on the actual team. So going on to our actual team, and to get back to your question, Mark, you asked for Jota out. So my current plan probably is to take Watkins out for Alvarez if Alvarez is going to play and Haaland will be benched. But for me, Jota is an easier kind of rotation option because I don't even know if he's going to start against Brentford. There have been some concerns about that back injury, and I think Klopp said that he has bruised ribs, which to me doesn't sound too great. So Jota might be benched yet again. I think Gakpo will play. I think Salah will play. So it's just who's going to start on that left-hand side. Could be Luis Diaz, could be Darwin Núñez, could be a Jota. So I think he's a lot easier to get rid of for someone like an Alvarez, but what I would probably do is wait and see if Alvarez is going to start. I'll try and retweet to whoever gives early team news. I still will be on my phone, so I'll have access to the early team news. So I'll try retweet, and what I would say is that if Alvarez is guaranteed to start, I would take Jota out for him. But if Alvarez isn't guaranteed to start, then you might as well just keep Jota or take him to an Isaac or a Callum Wilson. With that Callum Wilson and versus Isaac debate, I would like 1 week of extra information, but I think if you guys are going to do the transfer this week, I would go for Isaac over Wilson just because he's more guaranteed to get minutes. Next week, I probably will go for Callum Wilson if it looks like he's going to be fine, but if you're going to make the move this week, I probably would do Isaac in. So very long answer to your question, Mark, but hopefully you got everything there, but just let me know if you didn't. Most likely transfer, my most likely transfer is probably going to be Watkins to Alvarez, but that would depend on if Erling Haaland's benched. If Erling Haaland isn't benched, I think I'll just roll with this team. I don't think it's worth doing the transfer, but if Alvarez is going to start and Haaland's going to be benched, then I think it's worth switching the Captaincy to Alvarez with that transfer in. So most likely transfer is going to be banking, but the other move I could do is Ollie Watkins to Alvarez if Erling Haaland is benched. So that's basically the flow chart that I've come up with. I'm not going to do a midfielder transfer. I mean, Bruno Fernandes out, Rashford out, don't really like that. Matoma, March, if they do play this week, they're going to be great options. Not going to take Salah out. So, unless maybe Alvarez is benched and Haaland's benched, but then I'll probably just captain Salah. Should I do Trent for Robbo from -4? It's nervy if Robbo is again benched versus Brentford. No, Tarang. I think that Robertson should start this weekend. I don't see any reason why Tsimikas should unless Robertson's injured. And what I've said to a lot of people, they've been asking me, should they take -4 hits for Trent, -4 hits for Mo Salah? Definitely not for Trent. And I'll show you that shortly in terms of the actual game week schedule. But if you want to go for Salah and captain him, I can understand the -4. But I would definitely prioritize your double game week options at this stage of the season because Liverpool don't have any double game weeks remaining. Lionel saying, I have Robertson and Dalot on my bench to fit in March. Also have Grealish in my starting 11. Would you play a 4-4-2 and bench March or Grealish and play I've Trent too? Okay, no, so this is what you do, Lionel. This is going to be my answer to most of my... So I'm sorry if I said Watkins instead of Jota, but yeah, I would take Jota out if you guys have him for Alvarez if he's guaranteed to play. So Lionel, to get back to your question, what you do is it's going to be the question that a lot of people, my answer is going to be, it's you have to wait for early team use. So the reason that you have to wait for that is that if Grealish is guaranteed to start, then you're obviously going to play him. But if he is going to be benched, I would not have him in my starting 11. I just don't feel like Grealish is going to come off the bench for that many minutes. If he's going to be rested, he'll be rested for midweek. And that's why I think that it's fine to bench him if he's not going to play. That's going to depend on your benching situation. So I can't tell you now to bench Grealish because he might actually start. So other questions we have, Harry, Ake or Trippier to start this week? Probably depends on the early team use. Yeah, 100%, but right now I would start Nathan Ake over Trippier. The only reason I'm not starting Luke Shaw is I don't think that the chance of a clean sheet is exceptional. Whereas with Man City, I think they should keep a clean sheet. How long are you streaming for, Funny? I'm probably streaming for... if you guys are on the UK time zone, I'm probably streaming till 11. South Africa time zone or Central Eastern time zone or Central Eastern Europe time zone, probably 12. I just unfortunately can't stream later on. I will have access to my phone and the internet though, so don't worry. I will be able to tweet on early team news, but I can't stream later on, so I decided to stream now. Why Trippier over Shaw, says MQ. Okay, so MQ, the reason I'm going for Trippier over Shaw is I think that Trippier has a higher ceiling. I don't own any Arsenal attackers, so I'm hoping that they do blank. Do apologize to you Arsenal assets because, or Arsenal supporters, because that probably means they're going to drop points. But I just feel like I would rather have the chance of attacking returns and a clean sheet than Luke Shaw, who probably only has that clean sheet chance because of that centre-back position. So the higher upside is going to be on Trippier's side. I know he hasn't been returning over the past couple of game weeks, but the stats are still looking pretty good from an attacking point of view, and that's why I'm currently playing him. But it's a super close debate. It's almost like you saying, okay, who has the lower floor, which is going to be Trippier, but Trippier also has the highest ceiling. So I'm playing the odds here, hoping that Trippier gets me more points than Luke Shaw does. We have Andy that says team Kepa, Raya, Trippier, Henry, Shaw, Botman, Estupinan, March. Aiming for double game week players. If so, who? One this week, two next week. So what you got to do now is I would keep Watkins. Kane you can keep. I think that's fine. So what I would do, Andy, is I would wait for early team use. If Grealish plays, you obviously start him. But if he doesn't, I would switch him. And then what you can also do is you can take Saka out for another Man City midfielder, if you can afford that, which I think you can. So if we get news that Mahrez and Foden starts, can you take Saka and Grealish out for Mahrez and Foden, or can you do Saka to Foden, Saka to Mahrez, that sort of thing? That's what I would do with that one free transfer. And then if Haaland doesn't play, then you can just obviously change the Captaincy. But I would use my two free transfers this week to navigate the Man City fixture, and then next week you can bring in those Newcastle options for Ollie Watkins. So either Isaac or Callum Wilson. Tarang says, I just noticed Man City have the early kickoff, the curse. So this depends on your interpretation of the early kickoff, because the early kickoff could mean the first kickoff, or it could mean the early kickoff as in the game that should be played in about an hour's time, which it's not. So we have about 4 games. So is the bad luck of those early kickoff games spread across the 4, which means that there's less of a risk? That's what I'm currently thinking about. So, I mean, it is the early kickoff curse, but, you know, maybe it's not. That's what I'm saying. -4 for Trent, Sigma no. Okay, so let me show you this so that you guys get a bit more clarity. So I'm going to be using the Fantasy Football Fix. It's quite a tongue twister. Transfer Planner. No, this is not sponsored. I just find the tool to be super useful. It's not going to load now that I've said that. So let me just go back in and then back out. Discard. Okay, so we got the planner here. So I'm going to reset my draft to be what you guys see on screen right now. Okay, so this is going to be the team that we currently have. I'm going to assume that we don't do a transfer for this game week. So let's just assume that we're going to bank a transfer. So I'm going to head into game week 36, and this is going to be the Newcastle double game week. So let's sub on Botman, and we're going to sub on Botman for... Okay, wait, let me just refresh here because this is being a bit buggy. Okay, so let me go back to the planner. And I'll just wait for it to load. Okay, cool. So this is going to be game week 37. We're going to bank a transfer. Going to game week 36, this is going to be the Newcastle double game week. So I'm going to sub in Botman for Alexander-Arnold. And then I'm going to sub, that's going to be the team. Okay, then the transfer will be Ollie Watkins out. And then my current plan is I would really like to get Wilson in. And the only reason for that is that he is more differential, and I just like him more as an option. I'll put the Captaincy armband on him. So this will be the team that we look at having. And now you guys can see I'm actually benching Alexander-Arnold, which I don't know if I will do. I don't think Botman has the highest ceiling in the world. It's Leeds and Brighton. I mean, if they lose, they'll lose their clean sheet against Brighton, I feel. But maybe Leeds, they could keep a clean sheet. But I'm currently benching Trent. So this is why I don't think it's worth taking a -4 hit, because I'm benching Trent this week anyways. So then what my current plan is, so this is one free transfer, Callum Wilson in. Then going to game week 37. And going back to game week 36, I don't have to make another transfer here. You guys might disagree with me, but I've got my 3 Brighton, I've got my 3 Newcastle. They're the only teams that have a double game week this week, so that's fine to do. Then going to game week 37, what I'm currently thinking about is using another free transfer to bring in a Man City asset. So currently it's going to be Luke Shaw, Edison, Estupinan, March, Matoma, Fernandes, Rashford, Haaland. Now what I could do is, if we get early team use, Callum Wilson's benched, we can play Trent over him, but currently I think I'll just be benching Trent yet again. Then the transfer I'm thinking about doing is taking out Trippier, and the reason I'll take out Trippier rather than Trent is that if you look at the game, in game week 38, they have Chelsea away, which I know Chelsea aren't playing that well at the moment, but if you look at Liverpool's game, they have Southampton away. So I'd rather have Trent than Trippier. So what I would then do is I would take out Trippier and I would add Ruben Diaz, Ruben Diaz, because he's the most nailed Man City defender. And then this will be another transfer. So now we have 2 free transfers heading into game week 38. Now, is that needed? I don't know. I can't tell you guys that there's going to be rotation in game week 38. There might not be. But at least with 2 free transfers, if we do get early team use, because just remember, every team plays at the same time on game week 38. So if we get early team use, we can adapt to it. We can change things around. We can just do whatever we want with those 2 free transfers. But overall, the team looks pretty fine. I don't think the team looks pretty bad at the moment. I could obviously take out Callum Wilson if I don't favor it. But with the current XG Newcastle are producing, I'm fine with keeping him. But we have 2 free transfers here. And that's why I'm actually fine with doing the Alvarez move this week. Because we might not need 2 free transfers. We might only need 1 free transfer. But I wouldn't take a -4 hit. Going back to the question, I wouldn't take a -4 hit for Trent because I'm benching him next week. I'm benching him game week after. So he's not actually worth that -4 hit because you're basically hoping that he gets points this week and he has Brentford, which isn't a great game. So I wouldn't take a -4 hit for Trent, and for Salah it's marginal because, I mean, you're probably not going to captain Salah anyways. So it's tough. But yeah, definitely not for Trent though. In game week 36, I would rather bench a Estupinan. I think Brighton will concede in both games also. Now, that is true. So it's either benching Botman or benching a Estupinan. Yeah, I actually didn't mention a Estupinan, so yeah. I'm always having a good game week when you're drinking cocoa milk. So Alexander, so the drinks I have today, so I don't know if you guys are going to like this or not, but a friend bought me Prime. So the drink I have on the side is Prime. So is Prime going to be a good luck charm or not? I don't know. But I have 2 flavors here. I've got, so yeah, okay, you guys can't really see that, but yeah, this is the blue one, and is the green. So the green one's even worse. The green one actually looks pretty cool because of the green screen. So yeah, I've got the green one as well. So it's not choco milk, but maybe it's also a good luck charm. I don't know. I don't know if you guys like Prime or not, but for me it tastes a bit sweet. I won't lie to you guys. Maybe I'm just getting old, but yeah. So I don't know if our version in SA is the same as your guys, because I know it's in the UK and the US, but ours is a little bit different. If you guys can see here, it doesn't say the ounces, it says only the milliliters, which I don't know if that's different branding to what you guys have. But yeah, that's the only drink I have this week. Prime is illegal in my country, Denmark. Okay, so Hector says, bro's got the special edition colors, 100%. For me, the blue one's slightly better than the green one. I think it's just because I don't like lemon lime. I don't like those 2 flavors. It's a bit sweet for me. But the blue one is fine. It's not too bad. But yeah, it is quite sweet. Oh. I don't know if do you guys have in your countries Powerade and Energade? Because to me, those are kind of the 2 competitors for this drink. And I'm slightly edging towards Powerade in South Africa. I don't know if you guys have Powerade though overseas. But yeah, Danny's saying Prime Bangs. Ole's saying KSI drink, let's go. Metric system's the way to go, says Ole, 100%. It's the same, it can be a different bottle though, okay. Okay, Bangladesh Prime isn't available in Bangladesh. It's actually just come to SA at the moment. But there was a ridiculous price cap on it because in some stores it was 500 Rand, which I mean, Rand is going to be irrelevant to you guys. But currently it's 40 Rand, which is going to be about £2. So I think the price is about the same. Jared, the purple Powerade's the best. So for me, it's the blue one. I think it's like the Arctic blue, whatever. That's the goat drink. I always get that one. Why is the stream so early? Sorry if you answered this question, just joined. So Jag, I just can't do a stream later on, brother. That's the only reason why I'm doing a stream now. Because if you guys had questions, I still want to answer them. But definitely stay tuned for early team news. I'll retweet it and post it on Discord if we do yet. And I'll be posting my team on the Legend chat in Discord, as well as the general chat in Discord, just for you guys that aren't Legend members, and then also my Twitter page. we have Gatorade and Lucozade. So we have Lucozade, we don't have Gatorade. But when I went to the US, I think I had Gatorade, and yeah, it was fine. If Jota doesn't play, is it okay to have Solanke on the bench to replace him? So the thing about Jota, though, is that if Jota doesn't play, I think he'll come off the bench. So if he doesn't start, he'll come off the bench. Ditch sugars, please. So as far as I know, Rotimi, there wasn't that much sugar in this drink, but it tastes very sweet. So yeah, I'm assuming they've added some other stuff to it. We have a law limit when it comes to an energy drink in Denmark. Prime is over the limit. Okay, so Zodiac, are you talking about Prime Energy or just the Prime drink? Because I don't even know if this drink has caffeine in it. It does have apparently like some pre-workout stuff, but like I couldn't see any like caffeine in it. But I might be wrong. But yeah, I have seen that like the Prime Energy was apparently banned in some countries. Joel saying, I said, am I free to use any advice? Purple and blue Powerade are the best. Yeah, so the purple and blue, both of those are go-to drinks in my opinion. I'm going to say I think they're better than Prime, and they're probably cheap in SA. So, but I mean, if you each to their own, I guess. But if you still have your free hit, what I would do is check your double game week teams. Check next week. Chances are you probably have Brighton, Newcastle assets. Check game week 37. You probably have some options from Man City, some options from United. So then maybe use it game week 38. Kane as the captain if Haaland's out. A good record against London teams. I'm fine with Kane as the captain. I just think I haven't really recommended him. I mean, Mohamed's also asking that. So if you guys still have Kane, I think he's a viable option. I mean, he's in great form. Spurs aren't playing well. But, I mean, he's producing the goods. I saw that against Liverpool as well. So, I mean, even though Spurs aren't playing well, he's still getting you FPL points. So that's a fine option in my opinion. I just don't know. I think I might still go with Salah over him. But if you guys do want to go Kane, that's fine. Monster's not the same in other countries. It's okay, Zodiac, that's interesting, yeah. Who to start, Alvarez versus Watkins versus Isaac? Alvarez, you start Alvarez. But if Alvarez doesn't start, then I would go with Isaac. Watkins is an interesting one because I think it might just be short-term memory, but I don't know. Fatality say Brana's the go-to drink. I mean, yeah, each to their own, I guess. Maybe you can, maybe instead of you can mix your Branas with Prime. Maybe that'll be an alternative to like to Coke if you want. Who would you bench out of McAllister, Odegaard, and Watkins? So I'll probably bench Odegaard in that case. I just trust Newcastle. I think that they are a fine team. I've Grealish starting on my bench. I've got... No, so Gary, what you do is... I'm of the same kind of debate as taking a punt on this Grealish. So if Grealish doesn't start, I would probably move him to a Man City option that does, but obviously you don't have to do that. Because you have Burn, Henry, and Greenwood, I don't really like that bench too much, Gary, so I would probably take a punt on Grealish if he doesn't start. And what you can then do is Grealish to Mahrez, Grealish to Foden, or just keep Grealish if he plays. That's what I would say. I have Raya and Ward with one free transfer. Should I switch Raya? I don't like goalkeeper transfers this late into the season. I would probably just keep Raya. I mean, they could keep a clean sheet against Liverpool. I don't think so, but I mean, you could get some save points. So I don't really like the goalkeeper switches now. I mean, I did one for Edison, and you've seen how that's worked out. Goalkeepers have a super low ceiling. So yeah. Tron saying, answer my question. Tron, you just answered it like, you just asked it like 5 questions ago. Should I get Kane or Wilson or Alvarez? I have Isaac. So, Tron, what are you asking? Are you saying if Haaland's benched, are you going to take Haaland out, or who are you taking out? Because I wouldn't take Haaland out, and if you have Isaac already, are you saying who's going to be your third striker, or are you saying are you going to take Isaac out for one of them? But I would just keep Haaland, and I would just roll with Isaac as well. I would just keep your transfers. Wouldn't you do Grealish to Rashford, question mark? You could. That's a fine move, Jared, actually. I mean, I just assume that most people have Rashford at this stage of the season, but that is true. If you want to go Rashford, 100% fine. But what I would say is that if Haaland's benched, I would rather go for a punt on a Man City midfielder as my captain then. So there's a lot of ways to interpret the kind of early team use. For example, your question. Let's just say we get early team use. Haaland starting. Captain Haaland. Grealish isn't starting. Grealish to Rashford. Haaland isn't starting, and Grealish isn't starting. Grealish to Foden captain, Grealish to Mahrez captain. That could be a case. Thoughts on Edison to Steele and one of Greenwood to Alvarez? Yeah, that's fine. I don't like the Edison out move that much. I do worry about Steele. I think that one of these games that Sanchez will get minutes, and that's just natural because of how many games are coming up, and it seems like the Brighton manager is willing to rotate his squad. So because you've replaced the kind of FA Cup now, or the other cup competitions, I think that he will get one of these double game week midweek games. So not the biggest fan of the downgrade, but if it is an upgrade of a Grealish to a Mahrez captain, or if a Greenwood to an Alvarez, that's fine. But if you look at my team, I'm gonna keep Greenwood, because if I sub someone in for him, my team structure goes all over the place. Would you sell Shaw for Diaz? I only have Haaland from City and one free transfer. Are you playing Shaw this week? I don't know if it's worth the transfer. I think that Shaw's a fine option this week. I would rather absorb the information, because what I just worry about Kevin is that if Diaz gets injured or something like that before game week 37's double, then you're gonna have to make a transfer anyway. So I think the information might be fine. Tron saying who to bench out of this 5? Botman, Edouard, Trippier. I would bench Edouard probably. Is he guaranteed to start? I don't know. But yeah, I'd probably bench Edouard or Botman out of those. What third City player are you looking at for this double game week? Alvarez, Andy. I won't transfer any of my midfielders. So therefore the only option I can do is either the defender or an attacker. And the attacker is fine for me because I'm planning to do Ollie Watkins to Wilson next week anyways. So if I sub a transfer in there, I still keep that transfer flow. So what I'm saying there is, for example, let me say I take Salah out for Foden. If I want Salah in the future, I then have to bring him back in. But with Watkins, I don't want to bring him back in. So I'm taking him out anyways, so that's fine. Best Twitter channels to get early team use. I think it's... What is it? Is it team... Teams something. Team news and ticks. I'll send it in the chat. As far as I know, this is probably the most reliable option. Let me just check. Okay, I don't see anything as of yet, but we could get something potentially. Yeah, we could get something potentially, like some super early team use from Raptor. Yeah, so the thing about the early team use is that there is some other sources, like some other content creators that will probably get something early. So just watch out for them. But if you're generally on kind of FPL Twitter, it'll get shared, and I'll try and retweet it if we do get anything. Thanks, John, for the kind words. Do always appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, you can also pop a like. The only reason I'm saying it is because now that we're a bit earlier, we might actually get picked up by the algorithm, so that could be quite useful. Who should I change Tony for, says George. So George, what I would do this week is if you want to take a punt, I'd go for Alvarez, but unfortunately you're going to have to wait for early team use there. That would be my number one pick, but probably the more sensible option is Isaac. I like Callum Wilson, but I think if you're going to make the move this week, it would be for Isaac. Otherwise, you can always just keep Ivan Toney. I mean, Liverpool aren't the best defense at the moment, so I'm not that opposed. But let's say that you do have 2 free transfers. It makes sense to take a punt this week, and that's why I think Alvarez, if he does start, otherwise go for Isaac. That's what I would say. Thank you for the super chat, though, George. Always do appreciate the support. Yeah, so as Kylo's saying there, C345, Sam also has team use, but it seems like they are kind of linked. So if team news and ticks gets early team use, it's shared on both platforms. So yeah. What are you up for the rest of the day, mate? Hey, I'm actually going to a show later on, and then probably out for dinner. And then as Carlos was saying, Raptor had early team use. So if you guys don't follow him, he might potentially get some stuff. Yes, just seems like Edison has been leaking goals lately. Are you planning on banging a transfer or to make 2 next week? No, I won't make 2 next week. I'll make 2 in game week 38 probably. So let me go over the plan again to just show you guys what I'm dealing with. So let's just wait for it to load. Okay, so this week, if we bank a transfer, game week 36, I'll do Callum Wilson or Isaac in for Watkins. That's one free transfer. Then next week, I'll probably do Trippier out for Diaz. That's another free transfer. And therefore, in game week 38, we have 2 free transfers. So if we do a move this week, it means that we only will have 1 free transfer in game week 38, which isn't the end of the world. But that's why I'm planning not to use 2 free transfers next week. I mean, I might have to with injuries, but I'm planning to use it in game week 38 rather, just to kind of maybe switch some funds around, take a few punts. You know, it's the last game week of the season. Ivan saying, what's good, Davey? Everything's good here, brother. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. Are you sticking on the plan? Emmanuel, I'm sticking on the plan unless we get early team news. So that's the 2 scenarios I have, is early team news or not. If you don't get early team news, I'll use this team. If we get early team news, Haaland starts, I'll use this team as well. If Haaland doesn't start and Alvarez does, I'll bring Ollie Watkins out for Alvarez and I'll captain Alvarez as well. So that's my current plan. Ange, I love your stream. I have the same as ranking as you, but different teams. I mean, you know, great minds think alike in terms of overall rankings. That doesn't really work because we've thought differently, but we're on the same ranking. So I'm just going to roll with it. Maybe ignore what I just said. Are you selling Edison? Heard he's benched for the season. I mean, Gary, if that's true, that's going to be pretty bad. But otherwise, we just have old Kepa reliable on the bench. Thanks, Emmanuel. Looking forward to it as well. So I will check Twitter as we go along, but I don't know. I transfer Edison, hope he has a clean sheet. I hope for you as well, because I'm also starting him. Nanad, would you start Kepa or Iverson? It's a coin flip scenario. So who did Leicester play? Sorry for not knowing, but Leicester play Fulham. Okay, I mean, that's tempting because Fulham aren't the best team at the moment. They seem like they're on the beach a little bit. Yeah, that's a tough one. I might even be tempted to go for Iverson, to be honest, but I think maybe do a coin flip. How about a blank Alvarez and sub in 15th minute while Watkins scores against Wolves? Omar, don't talk that into existence, you know. You never walk alone, so hopefully if I do that, you do it as well. Salah to De Bruyne, also I wouldn't do it this week, Jag. I mean, De Bruyne might not even start. No way Haaland doesn't start. I'm of the same opinion, Andy. I think that he will play. I just worry that he does get subbed early, but I mean, 45 minutes of Erling Haaland might be enough. Start Raya or Iverson, please. I'd probably still go Raya. I think that he'll make a few saves against Liverpool, but it's a super close one between those two. I'm hoping that the kind of sway is not that great, Viking. Is it worth to start Ake over Shaw? I think I would. I mean, we might get early teams about Ake. If we do, then I definitely start him if he's going to play. But otherwise, if he is benched, I mean, I don't know if he'll come off the bench, so then you might get Luke Shaw. So I would say wait for early team use. If we get it, then just bench or play Ake depending on it. Would you start McAllister or Watkins? Vince, that's a tough one. If both were to start, I do favor McAllister, but I mean, Watkins is more of a talisman. That's a super tough one. I can look at projected points for you. I think that's probably going to be the metric that decides what you do here. So I'll go check projected points for you. Just give me a second. So you said McAllister and Watkins. McAllister. But that's if you trust projected points, I guess. But yeah, it says McAllister should probably score slightly higher. Are you drinking Prime? I am drinking Prime. So I have 2 flavors here. I've got the blue raspberry, and then I have the lemon lime, which you guys can't see. I haven't unlocked the character skin for the green one yet. I just wanted to check something quickly. Okay, I saw a question there. What's the time where you're from? So I'm from South Africa, so the time is 11:41 here. We are 1 hour before the UK. 1 hour after the UK, and I think about 9 hours behind Sydney, if that gives you guys any kind of time zone reference. But yeah, it's 11:41 in the morning here where I am. Why not play Shaw over Matoma or March? I always favor the attacker, and if both these two assets play, which I expect them to, Everton's a great game at home. Castagne Trippier as the third defender. I might go Castagne in that case. So that's Fulham. It's Fulham versus Arsenal. Arsenal a better attack, but I think that Newcastle a better defense. But I think I might punt. What I would say is that it depends on where you are in the ranking. Okay, so if you are fine with your rank, I'd probably play Trippier because he's a very safe option. But if you're not, then Castagne is a nice punt to go for. I think I would probably go for Castagne over Trippier if it was me, just because he has a higher upside, whereas Luke Shaw doesn't have that upside of an attacking threat, whereas Castagne does. So if it was me, I probably would go Castagne, but I mean, it's your choice if you want to go kind of on a punt. If you don't get early team use, would you start McAllister instead of Alvarez? I took in Alvarez last week. Todd, I would just probably play Alvarez. He has the higher upside out of those two. So I would just play him. If we don't get early team use, it is what it is. He could come off the bench and score even, so you never know. Brother, would you transfer Jota for Wilson? Not this week. I would do Isaac rather. The only reason I'm saying that is I do worry about Callum Wilson with his injury history, and that's why I want to give myself as much time as possible before going for him. So that's why I'm banking this week. Come game week 36's double, I can then say, okay, Callum Wilson looks fit. He came off early, or he didn't even play against Arsenal. He was on the bench, so therefore he should start against Leeds. And we might even get early team use because if you check here, they play the first game next week. So Leeds Newcastle's the first game, so we might get early team use about Newcastle. And whoever starts against Newcastle, I will probably bring in because that's the better fixture. What is a prime character skin? No, it's just because I got a green screen, you guys can't see the bottle. But like, if I took the green screen away, which I can do, but I don't know if I want to do that. But yeah, then it's gonna show the actual skin. But yeah, it's just the green screen. Nick Pope and Jota out. Who would you replace them with? Of Holland and Enciso up front. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So Nick Pope out. I mean, you could go for Edison if he's going to start. Otherwise, De Gea. Jota out. Isaac this week or Alvarez. Todd, what do you think of Prime? Prime's fine. It's a little bit sweet for me. It's almost like, I don't know if you guys have ever had those energy drink concentrates where you have to mix it with water, but it tastes very similar to kind of that. It's a little bit too sweet for me. And in South Africa, we have something called Powerade. And I just prefer Powerade to these, and they like half the price. So it's cheaper and it tastes better in my opinion. So I'm more on a Powerade side. But I mean, my mate bought these for me to try, and they're fine. I mean, I wouldn't pay like the 500 rand that they were going for, but now they're 40 rand. I mean, if you like it, you like it. But yeah, I think I'll go elsewhere. What do you think of it, Todd? Javit? Do you think Stones starts today? Simple, I can go check projected lineups. There's a pretty good projected lineup. It's Luke from Fantasy Football Scout. He does pretty good Man City predictions. And he has projected that Stones doesn't start. Okay. So his projection is that Stones doesn't play, but I mean, Stones could. But yeah, it doesn't look like he's predicted Stones to. So, I mean, that each to their own, I guess. Okay, so let's get back to the questions. NJ Nachi is the best. I don't like Nachi flavored stuff, so I prefer the purple, not the purple, the blue one. But as I said, NJ it's fine, but I prefer the Powerade version. I'm from Sweden, so I can't taste it yet, as Todd. I mean, you can fly here, and I'll give you these two because I don't know if I'm gonna finish them, but yeah. Otherwise, I just maybe wait for it. I don't know if it'll come though. Did he predict Alvarez to start? Sorry, I should have probably checked that. I don't think so. No, he projected. So this was the projected team from Luke. It's Edison in goal, but I mean, that's a 50-50. Laporte, Diaz, Akanji, Lewis, Rodri, Foden, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Mahrez, and Haaland up front. So Alvarez wasn't projected to start. But I think it's very dependent on the KDB injury, which we won't know. So if KDB's actually like still on the mend, then I don't know. Blue Powerade is life, says Saxmeister. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's the go-to drink in my opinion. I think if there's one drink I could drink for the rest of my life, it's either the chocolate Steri Stumpy or it's the blue Powerade. Fatality, thanks. My 10-year-old son wanted to know, Go Black Prime bottle. Yeah, exactly. It looks pretty cool. So like you can see here, if I take the two, if your son's still watching, you can see that the one is like completely black. But he's probably been nagging you to get Prime because my one mate's a teacher and he had to hide it in class because children wanted it. Okay, so Alexander and Todd are speaking Swedish in chat, I assume. So I can't, but I assume you're talking to each other. No Grealish, but KDB sounds weird. Yeah, so the thing about KDB is that if he's back from injury, I expect him to play because Pep wants to get him up to speed. But the thing about Grealish is that I think he started every game recently. So if there was to be a rest, it's going to come today, and that's why I think. 40 Rand for Prime is crazy. Yeah, it is a bit crazy, and that's why I say I prefer the others. Because I think if I check how much the blue Powerade is. Okay, so let me just do some quick math here. Yeah, so I mean, like, you can get it for like 16 Rand, which is like half the price. So yeah, it's gonna be, but I think it's the hype around the drink, and that's what I can always appreciate. I think the branding looks pretty nice, but yeah. So I've been in and out of the stream. Can you give us a super quick rundown of your potential moves this week? No worries, Harry. The moves this week are dependent on early team news. This will be the team if we don't get early team news. This will be the team if Haaland starts. We'll captain him and keep the same. But if Haaland doesn't start and Alvarez does, then I'll do a switch to Alvarez captain for Ollie Watkins. But if Alvarez is benched, Haaland's benched, which isn't that likely, then I'll captain Salah and keep the team the same. Gatorade over Prime any day of the week, says AQ. So I haven't tried Gatorade, so maybe I should like more recently, and then I can give that comparison better. Are you streaming till 1:30 UK time? No, I'm not. I'm streaming for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm off. So get your questions in if you haven't. Trippier over Shaw, Emmanuel at the high ceiling. So I think that Luke Shaw as a centre-back only offers that kind of clean sheet threat, whereas Trippier, there might be some clean sheets. I don't know any Arsenal attackers, so I hope they're blank, and Trippier obviously offers that more attacking threat. I have a starting forward line of Haaland, Tony, and Antonio. Also have Grealish, who isn't predicted to start. I have 2 free transfers. What I would probably do is I would take out Antonio, definitely. If Alvarez plays, it would be for him. Otherwise, it would be for Isaac. I just don't know about Antonio this week. That's what I would say. Potential Prime sponsorship for the channel soon. So I don't know about that one because of what I've said throughout the stream. But if they want to sponsor me, I'm game, I guess. Come to the UK and I'll buy you some, says AQ. Okay, so you have it in the UK and you have it in the US. You probably can get it here at some other stores. Arizona iced tea, I have had that, and that's also quite a nice drink, I won't lie. But it is also quite expensive because it's imported in SA. Sharab says, reply me, says, it's so funny with people like when I don't read the message, but then I read the message that says like, why didn't you ever read my message? So Sharab says, okay, so you have Kepa. Okay, Trippier, Shaw, Mings, Rashi. I'll probably take out Saka. I'll take out Saka for one of the Man City. I'll take out Saka for Man City midfielder that starts this week. That's what I would do. That's how I would spend my transfer. No, Tarang. I'm not going to play Shaw instead of Matoma or March. I think they're fine. So you take Antonio out and leave Grealish in. Says Adam. Okay, sorry, Adam. I didn't see that. Okay, you said also have Grealish. I have 2. Who's your bench option that you can play? Because what you can do then, but I don't know if I like taking out Grealish for the long term, but I think it's fine. Because Grealish is guaranteed to probably play the majority of Man City's minutes. But with the Man City Champions League rotation around, maybe not. But yeah, I would probably take out Antonio before I take out Grealish. Because does Antonio have a double game week coming up? I don't think so. I think that they had their double game week as far as I know. Martelli is benched, says Adam. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the problem with our teams now, is the benches are stacked. So I would probably keep Grealish. I'll take out Antonio for either Isaac or Alvarez. And then if Grealish is benched, Adam, I would just play Martinelli. Would you consider starting Mings at Wolves over Ice Cold Trippier? I mean, John, my senses told me to start Trippier, but I've been wrong on Tyrone Mings. I swear before Tyrone Mings' 15-pointer, I told someone to bench him. Sorry for hitting the mic. I think I told someone to bench Mings before his 15-pointer that game week. So I'm not the best in terms of a Mings prediction. Do you think Haaland might get rested before the game? I think it's more likely that he is starts and comes off the bench than him getting a total rest. When do Man City play though? Okay, so Man City play Tuesday, so that's quite a quick turnaround. But I think what might happen is if they kind of 3 goals up, Haaland will come off half time. Whereas I don't know if he will get benched though. Okay, so nothing as of yet. Salah to bang a Hattie this week, says Adam. I mean, if you're going to captain him, that'll be quite nice. When should I use my wild card? So, Jag, you can use it this week, you can use it next week, you can use it the week after. Just look at your team this week, and what I would do is create a wild card draft. Are you a legend member, Jag? Because then in the Discord channel, I've posted kind of a wildcard draft. Actually, just go into general chat. Go into the Discord, go into general chat, and I've posted like a list of players I would look at. And if you can afford all those, then potentially look at how many are different to your current team. Then you can use it this week. The only thing about wildcarding this week is that you're going to have to be super active, because let's say you go for someone like a Diaz or an Edison or a Grealish or Mahrez and they don't start, then you have to change your team quite quickly. So just make sure that you're prepared for that. If Haaland doesn't start, you're going to bench him. Omar, I'll probably keep him on. If Haaland comes off the bench, I want to have him in my team. 20 minutes of Erling Haaland is enough for a haul. So I would keep him, and then Luke Shaw can come off the bench anyways if he doesn't start. Sorry, I probably missed it, but if Alvarez and Haaland both start, then I'll keep the current team I'm on. I think the only reason why I'm going to use a transfer this week is to change my captain. That's what I'll say. Sharap, what's your team transfer plan? Okay, we can go over it. So I've just mentioned this week what I'm going to do. So this week, if Haaland's benched, I'll do Alvarez in and captain him. Otherwise, if Haaland's going to play, I'll just keep the current team. So that'll be this team here that you see on screen. Then next week, what I'll do is I'll bring in Callum Wilson or Isaac for Watkins. The week after that, I'll bring in Diaz for Trippier. The week after that is game week 38. We have 2 free transfers, and we can just do whatever we want. So that's the current plan. But if Haaland is benched, then I will be bringing in Alvarez and captaining him. As long as Alvarez does play, obviously. I'm hoping Haaland is benched. Would be a nice differential. It is going to be a nice differential. The only problem is that if Haaland doesn't play at all, and everyone is vice captain Mo Salah, and Mo Salah bangs, and Alvarez doesn't, then we're not going to be looking too strong. So that's all I'll say. Because just remember that everyone's captain will be on Erling Haaland. His effective ownership will be super high. So everyone who doesn't captain, everyone who's captain Haaland probably has Salah vice captain. So then we're looking at a bit of a strange plan. But if Haaland's benched, then comes off the bench for about a 1-point appearance, then we're looking golden. What do you want to do, Alexander? It's too far in the future, brother. I'm not a fortune teller that much. We'll wait and see what happens there, but I'm currently focusing on what we have in front of us, and game week 38 is a bit too far. But if you want to plan game week 38, that's 100% fine, but a lot can happen in the next 4 game weeks. I'm 0.5 shy of Wilson with almost the same team, just no Watkins. Do I downgrade Bruno for a hit? No, you don't downgrade Bruno for a hit because Bruno has a double. I would first downgrade one of your bench options. So downgrade Kepa to an Iverson or something like that. Harry Pierce says King Charles confirmed starter. Not my captain though. I'm joking. That wasn't meant to be offensive, but it might have sounded it. But yeah, no, definitely King Charles has been confirmed starter. Kickoff, I don't know when's the crowning. Kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. or something. Daryl saying, would you take Wilson out for Alvarez, who leaked the KDB info? I don't know what you mean about the KDB info. I haven't seen any KDB info, but you can post it if you've seen something. But yeah. Did you know Matteo not playing until 3 p.m. UT? Yes, I did know that, Flaming. I'm just streaming earlier because I can't later. I should attend. I'm actually attending the coronation potentially. No, I'm not. It's going to be a long flight to go to it. But no, I unfortunately just can't go. Would you go for a Newcastle striker? Yes, this week, but I'd go Isaac over Wilson this week if you're going to go gameweek 35. Wilson, Callum Wilson says smash the like button for our boy. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, the scary part is the one below me in my mini league will definitely captain Salah as a differential. If he bangs, I'm in trouble. So Tarang, what you do then is that I don't think, are you top or you second? I think you might be second in your mini league. If the guy third, or if you first and the guy second, all you do is you just block their transfers. With 4 game weeks to go, if you top of your mini league and you only care about your mini league, then what you do is you bring in the same options and you predict what your opponent's going to do. Then you do the same thing as them. If they're going to captain Salah, you captain Salah. But otherwise, if you second, as you've said, you're going to want to chase first. Powerade Jagged Ice is the GOAT. Yeah, it's a good one. I prefer the blue one. But, I mean, I think the Jagged Ice is the purple one. But both of those two are decent. Bench Matoma, March, Watkins, or Grealish. This decision will be made for you by early team use. If Grealish is benched, you bench Grealish. But otherwise, I would probably bench Matoma. Start one, Isaac or Watkins or March. I would start March. When is the deadline? The deadline is in... Okay, so it's 12 now. The deadline's 2:30. So it's in 2.5 hours. So you guys have a lot of time to kind of focus. Guys, get your last questions in because I'm going to be going in about a minute's time. So if you have any more questions, I'll try and answer them. Other than Alvarez and Newcastle attackers, who's the best replacement for Jota? I would say those two. I don't know who else I would look at. Maybe a Solanke for funds. But I think those two are your best options. I'm going to check Twitter for you guys. Just to check that we've got nothing. And we have got nothing. So no early team users come about, which was expected. Enjoy your show later on and good luck with your early team use hunt. Thanks Harry, I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by. Who's the best differential captain this week? I'd probably say Salah, but if Alvarez starts, it's going to be Alvarez. Bench 1, Gakpo, Watkins, Antonio. I would bench Antonio. Got to head off. Thanks, Dave. It was a pleasure. AQ, I also have to, so don't worry, brother. We synchronized here. Who leaked the KDB info last is what I meant. I think Raptor had it. What Twitter you check for City? I'm going to check this site. But I'll retweet anything that I see. So if you guys are following me, you guys will see it as well. I've won bench 1, McAllister, Isaac, Watkins. I would probably say Isaac, regrettably. I have Edison and Raya. Which other goalkeeper would have brought in? No, I would just keep Edison and Raya. Your tribe will update you. Thanks, Carlo. Appreciate it. Thanks, Joel. Clean sheet for Chelsea or Leicester this week. I'd probably say more likely for Leicester. It's a 12:30 deadline. So UK time, I think it's 1:30. SA time is 2:30. Good luck, Davey. Thanks, Ty, the footy guy. And unfortunately, guys, it's going to be the end of the stream. Thank you for joining us. Sorry it was a bit earlier than usual. But I hopefully answered your questions with as best knowledge as I had. Don't worry, though. I will update you guys on my final team over on Twitter and on Discord. So make sure that you guys are on both those platforms. But I'm going to sign off. It's been Davey FPL. I'm going to sign off. Cheers. Bye.